Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the AFC Virtual Travel Show today. We're excited for a great year of travel at AFC, and it's been an incredible start. So many of our trips have already reached guaranteed departure status, and there's more to come. Travelers are booking their trips earlier in the year, and spaces are filling up on these tours. There is no more sitting around, and we've seen a big return to travel so far. Now, AFC offers some incredible travel opportunities with great destinations and wonderful travel companions. Like-minded individuals that come together on a tour or river cruise to explore the world together and see some of the most incredible sights. Our travel show today covers our top 20 tours, the best-selling trips in North America, with huge popularity and high interest from travelers like you. And these are wonderful itineraries which have been very successful. We'll also cover our Swiss Alpine Villages tour, as it takes you on some of the great trains in Europe. So let's jump in and get started. So we offer worldwide tours and cruises, trips all over the place with a lot of different travel styles. And one of our most popular travel styles are our Unpack Once tours that settle into one hotel for your entire stay. So that allows you to unpack and settle into your hotel and travel out from there. And then we do train trips all around the world, especially through our national parks. We charter European river cruises and then also work internationally. Whether it's a land tour or ocean cruises, we have a lot to offer. Now, what's included with an AFC tour? First and foremost is round-trip airfare. That's included in the price, and you can see the entire cost of your tour on each page of the brochure with specific gateways shown. We also include home pickup if you're within 40 miles of your airport. Home pickup is a huge advantage to you as a traveler, makes things easier to get to and from the airport. And we're also offering our home pickup credit. That means if you make your own arrangements to and from the airport, your final payment gets reduced by $100 per person. So that's a great and easy savings there. Our tour managers are some of the best in the industry. They're helpful, they're organized, and they really do care about your experience and maximizing your travel time. The hotels, activities, and dining that we provide give you a great taste of local life, a lot of meals with regional specialties, and we incorporate all kinds of cultural experiences on our trips. The hotels we use are well located and comfortable, and the included sightseeing make our trips memorable. Now, we have a couple of different guarantees. We have guaranteed pricing. That means once your deposit is paid on your tour, your price is locked in. So even as fuel prices change for motor coaches and river cruise ships, we absorb that cost. We don't pass it on to you, our travelers. So that's what you can expect from us. Make sure you secure your pricing with the deposit as soon as possible. We also have guaranteed departures. So when you see the GD symbol in the brochure and on the show, we have enough passengers on that departure to run. As we move through 2024, you'll see more of these programs going to guaranteed departure status. And the next step after that is that these trips do sell out. And we've seen that with all of our trips, whether it's domestic, international, or our European river cruises. Now, I mentioned that home pickup. This is one of the biggest pieces to why people travel with AFC. We pick you up at your door, take you to the airport, and bring you back after you arrive back at your home gateway. So we drop you right back off at your home. Then we also offer that $100 credit if you choose your own way to the airport, whether that's Uber or Lyft or share a ride. So that's some great savings as well. And what's new for 2024? First and foremost is our loyalty program. That's our Travelers Club. So we wanted to reward travelers that have been with us for a long time, that take many trips with us each year. So if you book a 2024 tour or European river cruise, you are automatically enrolled to receive a $100 loyalty credit off your next tour or European river cruise within 18 months. So that's a great savings. Easy way to save is to book travel with AFC on a regular basis. So again, book a 2024 tour or European river cruise, and that next tour that you book within 18 months is $100 off. We also offer a refer a friend credit. So AFC truly started as a word of mouth company. So people have been sharing their experiences all over the country and telling people all about AFC. And when you do that, when you tell your friends or family about us and they travel with us, your next tour is reduced by $100. So a great easy savings there. Our early booking savings now provides more savings to more people, as the savings are extended to the first 40 travelers who book with us. So if you're the first 1 through 20 passengers to book on a departure, you save $100. And if you're the 21st through 40th client, you would save $75. And these savings are applied as you pay your final payment by check. Now, what AFC is really about is real people and real service. And so when you call us, when you email us, you get a real person that handles all of your questions, all of the aspects of your program. And our staff has over 130 years of travel experience combined. And we look forward to assisting you to make travel easy. At AFC, we also offer low-cost travel insurance, and that has a cancel for any reason benefit. This provides security as you move closer to your tour. We're also part of the US TOA, and this is a select group of the top 50 to 60 tour operators in the US. These are all covered under a $1 million Traveler's Assistance Program. So as we get into some of our great departures, we'll start number 1. This is our best-selling trip for many reasons. As a 1 hotel stay, we have 5 nights in 1 property surrounded by the beautiful geology of Sedona, Arizona. And the Great Trains and Grand Canyons lets you relax in style. So our first day takes us around the Sedona area on a trolley tour. That also stops at the Chapel of the Holy Cross, which was built in 1954, up into the Red Rocks. We take you to Uptown Sedona, as well as the artist community of Tlaquepaque. Now, one of the big highlights is driving through the Oak Creek Canyon en route to Williams, Arizona. Then we board the Grand Canyon Railroad to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. So we travel all along this route and make our way up to the Bright Angel Lodge. We get off the train and walk up into the lodge, and out the back door is the beautiful canyon in front of you. Then an unknown highlight for most is our journey on the Verde Canyon Railroad, and that takes us through the most lush and beautiful stretch of Arizona. The biggest draw, as I mentioned before, is a 1 hotel stay for your entire trip, as well as many travelers' first time to the Grand Canyon. So you can see all the different departure dates that we have to offer up top. It's a 6-day, 5-night tour, 8 meals included, and a wonderful stop at Montezuma's Castle as well. So this gives you a glimpse of the Verde Valley train, Verde Canyon train. So the train ride takes us through some beautiful stretches. As well, you're riding in style with a first-class train car. And then we also have access to an open-air car as well. And that has a naturalist on board telling us all about the geology, the wildlife, and everything around us. Now, Cape Cod and the islands is where we start out in Boston. So Boston is one of the largest cities in the U.S. and the largest city in both Massachusetts and New England as a whole. So you'll enjoy a city tour featuring much of the history of our country's foundation before we head out to the Cape. Now, Cape Cod is a hooked sandy peninsula from the glacial period. It encompasses southeastern Massachusetts and extends 65 miles into the Atlantic Ocean. It's also home to Plymouth, Massachusetts, and that's home to the Pilgrims who came over on the Mayflower. So we'll visit a replica of the Mayflower and the original plantation, as well as a stop to see Plymouth Rock. We stay 5 nights in either Hyannis or Yarmouth and journey to many of the sites, including ferry rides to Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. Then you enjoy a city tour of Newport, Rhode Island, and the famous Breakers Mansion, home of the Vanderbilt family in the late 1800s and early 1900s. This is our most popular East Coast tour, and you can see the extensive list of dates. For the best weather, we plan the trips in the summer and early fall to maximize temperatures. Now, these are some great photos of Provincetown, and there's something truly magical about Provincetown at the tip of Cape Cod. Gorgeous beaches, fantastic restaurants, and rich history. It's a must on any Cape tour, and we incorporate it as one of our stops. Now, Maine is a rugged, stunning, magical place as well, and this will take your breath away on our Coastal Maine Lighthouses and Landscapes tour. It's a state of contrasts with 3 beautiful seasons and 1 long, cold, snowy winter. So lighthouses have dotted the landscape for years and have alerted sea captains and boaters of all sorts of hazards. Our tour will give us a chance to see a number of these lighthouses by both water as well as land. And we have 2 boat cruises on this trip. One is our Casco Bay cruise, and then a local lobsterman takes us out for a hands-on experience in lobster fishing. So we have a tour of a Victorian home in Portland, then take a ride on an electric rail car. And of course, we have a lobster bake, complete with entertainment and music. On our free day, we offer an optional tour to Coastal Botanical Gardens in Southport Harbor, and that's where the granite and the gardens meet the sea. We spend a day going inland to New Hampshire for a scenic train ride, and we also make a stop at a maple sugar house to learn how it takes about 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. You can understand why real maple syrup is so expensive. And we'll fly in and out of Boston on this trip and get to see Fenway Park on our city tour of Boston, and that's home of the Red Sox. That park is the most historic stadium in America, dating to 1912. Now, this gives you a glimpse of the city of Portland in Maine. The old port, the wonderful food, and little boutiques are just some of why Portland, Maine has become so popular over the years. Then we work our way up north, and we get to head over to Canada. And we have about 5 different programs throughout the summer to the wonderful neighbors up north in Canada. And these are programs that have sold out quite well. So all of our Canadian Rockies departures are guaranteed. And again, the next step for those is that they do sell out. So please don't wait to book on those. This tour features ever-changing scenery and the majestic Rockies near Banff. Air travel brings us to Calgary. That's home of the famous Stampede. And you'll see Lake Louise as well as Glacier National Park in the vast state of Montana. The tour takes you to Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump. That's home of the First Nations and Native American buffalo hunting grounds. They've occurred there for centuries. You'll also experience a glacier up close in the Icefields Parkway on the Ice Explorer on this tour. Now, the Canadian Rockies are highlighted by Mount Robson, and it's the highest peak, which reaches nearly 13,000 feet. Now, Kootenay National Park is also included on this tour, and it's located between Banff and Yoho. It offers serene hot springs, beautiful hiking trails, and stunning river valleys. Then we head off on the Canadian Rockies National Park Tour on 3 different departure dates. So we have June, August, and September. Space, again, is limited, so don't wait as these trips are filling up. Now, one of the great national parks we visit on this tour is Waterton Lakes, and it covers nearly 200 square miles with more than half of Alberta's plant species and over 60 mammals. The Waterton Lakes chain is one of many special features here, with the upper lake being the deepest in the Rockies at over 487 feet. Now, Hawaii 3 Islands have several departures for the year. As you can see, one heads out in just a week from now, and that's February 20th. Then we have one in March and one in November. But we arrive on Oahu on this tour, and that's where we stay right near Waikiki Beach in Honolulu for 3 nights. The following day, you'll visit Pearl Harbor. You'll board a Navy skiff that takes you out to the site of the USS Arizona. And it's a very somber but impactful visit. From there, it's off on a Honolulu city tour. We get to see Punch Bowl Crater, the state capitol, and the governor's mansion. And you'll have the choice of a day off at Waikiki Beach or take a Circle Island tour to see the Dole Pineapple Plantation, North Shore, and some other stunning sights. On the Big Island, you'll visit Volcanoes National Park as well as the Black Volcanic Sand Beach. And that sand is made of pitch black fragments of cooled volcanic lava. Then a 2-night stay in Kona is accompanied with dinner included the night of arrival, and an optional whale watching excursion to see humpback whales as they make their way between Hawaii and Alaska. We fly to Maui and stay 3 nights on that magical island and head up above the clouds to Haleakala Crater for stunning views of this once formidable volcano. Our farewell is a true Hawaiian luau, and that incorporates dance as well as local food. And the Hawaiian government has asked a return to travel come back to Hawaii after the unfortunate fires. So we've tried to assist and bring folks back to the beautiful islands because they are amazing to see. It's one of my favorite places to visit in the entire world. Now we see the Black Sand Volcanic Beach on our time on the Big Island, and that's Punaluu Black Sand Beach. It's the largest and most accessible black sand beach on the Big Island. And this is where you can see endangered hawksbill turtles and green sea turtles that love to hang out on the warm black sand. Now, our New Mexico Balloon Fiesta is one of the most popular experiences to take in through the U.S. It's a bucket list item and surely one that you can't miss. So we fly into Albuquerque for 2 nights, and the following day you'll have 2 chances to see the balloons take off. First, early in the morning at the Mass Ascension as the sun rises over the mountains, and then we come back for the balloon glow at night and that's a great opportunity to see these balloons fill up and take off. With over 500 balloons, it's the largest ballooning event on Earth and the most photographed event on Earth as well. It's the largest international event held in the United States. Now, following our stay in Albuquerque, we spend 3 nights in Santa Fe and get to visit the Laredo Chapel as well as the Taos Pueblo with some fantastic inclusions. Now, we work our way up to the Los Alamos Bradbury Science Center on this tour as well. So if you've seen the movie Oppenheimer, this is the area where the atomic testing occurred. Now you can see both departure dates, October 6th and 13th, are already guaranteed. This one does fill up quickly. So imagine 54 football fields all put together. That's the size of the Balloon Fiestas Park at 78 acres and the launch site for these balloons. So this event is one of the most popular in the world. Now, Utah's Mighty National Parks tour is an incredible trip that also includes time in Colorado. And we'll arrive in Grand Junction, where the group enjoys a welcome dinner. And the next morning, we make our way to the Colorado National Monument. So this is where you get to see great diversity in biology as well as geology. And after our visit, we stop for a wine tasting in the up-and-coming Colorado wine region of the Grand Valley AVA. From the tasting, we wind our way along the scenic byway of 128, known as the River Road, as it follows the Colorado River. And this is a 44-mile stretch, which forms part of the prehistoric highway. It's an incredibly beautiful drive, and we make our way over to Moab, Utah for 5 nights. And this is a great hub for ventures into the different parks of Utah. So we see Arches, Canyonlands, and Capitol Reef, along with Monument Valley. And Monument Valley is that picture down on the bottom left corner with this amazing landscape. And we're taken out by Navajo native guides on a great tour through the valley. Now, 5 miles from Moab is the wonderful Arches National Park, and it has over 2,000 arches scattered across its vast 77,000-acre expanse. So this park is a treasure trove of geologic wonders. We see Delicate Arch, which is a freestanding arch widely recognized as the symbol for the state of Utah. And our mystery tours sell out nearly every single departure, as they're very popular. We have over 60 different mystery tour destinations with fun-filled activities, and our staff is here to help you pick the right departure for you. So if you've done 1 or more mystery tours with us, our team can direct you to something new. When you book, you'll be advised how to pack, the average weather in the destination, and some helpful hints in the packet. And the packet comes in the mail about 3 weeks prior to departure. It has specific tabs to keep things a secret. But if you're too curious, you can always choose to look. Once you check in, you'll get your boarding pass and find out where your first destination is. The tour manager meets you in baggage claim on arrival, and over the course of the trip, they'll reveal tour components or give clues along the way. So these are trips for those who have a sense of adventure and don't need all the details, but they're fun-filled itineraries with the seasons and weather considered. Now, I absolutely love San Antonio, whether it's the Alamo, the great food, or the Riverwalk, and there's a lot to do in the surrounding area. So this is a great Unpack Once tour where you'll stay 4 nights in San Antonio. And we'll head up to Austin, the state capital of Texas, and enjoy time at the Lyndon B. Johnson Library. So the presidential library there, and sites of the University of Texas campus, which is the home of LBJ's library. You'll enjoy a San Antonio city tour. That's where you get to learn about the Spanish and Mexican period in Texas, and a stop at the Mission San Jose. Then we'll head over to the IMAX Theater and learn all about the battles that took place in the buildup of the Alamo. We head over across the street to the actual Alamo and get to explore the grounds firsthand. And this is one of our country's most famous battles. We take you on a boat ride down the famous Riverwalk, and that's one of the most popular attractions in all of Texas. And then end the day with a ride up the Tower of Americas for dinner. So we head out to Hill Country on this tour as well. That's just north of San Antonio to Fredericksburg. And that's where we'll take a stop to grab some lunch, explore the German-themed town, and visit the National Museum of the Pacific War. It has great detail about the Second World War and the Pacific Theater. So this departure is April 19th. We visit Mission San Jose in our time in San Antonio, and this is known as the Queen of the Missions. Our visit to Mission San Jose takes us to the largest mission in Texas. It was established in 1720 and connected the Trail of Missions to the present-day Alamo. Now, Cal Rail Discovery, this is a great trip to the heart of the Bay in San Francisco, and so many highlights in the city with our city tour. So we'll take you by motor coach seeing Fisherman's Wharf, Little Italy, downtown, and San Francisco Bay. Then we take you out to Muir Woods to see the beautiful coastal redwood trees. Our trip through Napa is complete with a wine tour and tasting, and then a one-night stay in the state capital of Sacramento. It's called California Rail Discovery as we take the Amtrak up and over the Sierra Nevadas and over to Lake Tahoe. And this is one of the most majestic lakes in the world. And we have 2 departures on this program. We take off June 5th, and that's nearly sold out already, and October 9th in the fall. So not only do we get to see the state capital as well as the city of San Francisco, we'll work our way over for a 3-night stay in Lake Tahoe in South Lake, so beautiful views of the lake itself, and then over to Virginia City. That was home of the Comstock lode. And we'll have a train experience as we take the Amtrak above the Sierra Nevadas, and then that takes us over to the north end of Lake Tahoe as we drive around to South Lake. Now, Niagara Falls and the Grand Hotel is a trip we start out by flying into Detroit, and we stay 2 nights in Dearborn, and you can never have enough time in Henry Ford's museum. So starting with the River Rouge plant, this is literally where you can watch F-150s, Ford trucks, being made in a moving assembly line. Now, Ford wanted to collect items of historical significance and items that portrayed the Industrial Revolution. So the museum collection contains the presidential limo of John F. Kennedy, Abraham Lincoln's chair from Ford's Theater, Thomas Edison's lab, and the Wright brothers' bicycle shop, and a lot of other historical exhibits on display. And who wouldn't want to unwind, disconnect, and enjoy a peaceful island stay with no cars and being picked up by horse-drawn carriage? Then we take you up the hill to an imposing, lovely property for 2 nights at the Grand Hotel. And this is where we include a dinner experience with fine dining and dancing at your disposal. And then each room is decorated in a unique style, and it's elegance personified. Just a beautiful hotel property there. We bring along a great film as we head up to Mackinac and get to see this wonderful romanticism on display. We'll tour the island by horse and carriage, and when we leave the island, we work our way across the Mighty Mac suspension bridge and spend a night in the town of Frankenmuth with its Bavarian-style shops and Christmas wonderland. And then it's off to Niagara Falls. That's where we take the Maid of the Mist cruise, and that's where we'll travel underneath the falls. And then we also walk along the river, so you get to see a lot of different perspectives. And then we incorporate some great features in that area and stay on the Canadian side. So make sure you bring your passports on this tour. But this is just a glimpse into our travels through Mackinac Island. Now, our New England Rails and Trails is a fantastic program that extends to 4 states, including Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Maine. You'll spend a good portion of your second day in the city of Boston, take in Beacon Hill and Old North Church. And then we make our way to Conway in the beautiful White Mountains, maxing out at about 6,300 feet. It's the tallest peak in the Northeast. And then the following morning, we take you to Mount Washington, and that's where we'll take a Cogway, which was called the second greatest show on earth by P.T. Barnum. We take you on the Cogway Scenic Railroad, and that departs from an 1874 train station. And it truly is a trip back in time in the restored historic rail cars. We drive through the Keechee Gorge, and that's known as Vermont's Little Grand Canyon, and include a visit to Portland, Maine. That's where we stay 2 nights. This trip finishes with a lobster farewell dinner to round out the tour. And it's a great opportunity to take the train throughout some of the best parts of the Northeast. Now, a big highlight is catching this tour in the fall. So we have a September 28th and October 5th departure. And these are when the colors are changing. So the Kankamangas Highway is a 34.5-mile scenic drive in northern New Hampshire, and it's well known as one of the best fall foliage viewing areas in the country. Now on our Mount Rushmore and Yellowstone tour, we'll start out in Rapid City and work our way through the Badlands National Park to experience geological layers of history and all sorts of different colored soil. Now we see Mount Rushmore in the day as well as the night, and that's where we see the illuminations experience, and a park ranger comes out on stage in front of the amphitheater, tells us all about the history of the mountain, the development, and the people involved, and then they unveil the mountain under lights. So it's just unbelievable. We head north to Deadwood and learn all about the golden era of gunfights, saloon brawls, and the Wild West with Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane. And then it's off to see Devil's Tower National Monument. We enter Yellowstone National Park along the east entrance from Cody, Wyoming, and stop at the Buffalo Bill Cody Museum. And this is where we enjoy a full day of touring in Yellowstone. That features the Old Faithful Geyser, Yellowstone Canyon, and Yellowstone Lake, as well as many of the fountain pots and water features that make the national park so special. This is one park where you're most likely to see wildlife. Numerous times on tour, we've seen buffalo, elk, deer, and other creatures. So we pass along the Grand Tetons Mountains as well, en route to Jackson Hole for a night, and we finish this trip with a city tour of Salt Lake before flying home. So both of our departures, June 19th and August 21st, are already guaranteed. And this is the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, with the beautiful upper and lower falls. About 630,000 years ago, a huge volcanic eruption occurred in Yellowstone and emptied an underground chamber of magma. And this is the beginnings of what created this amazing valley. So we take in the falls and the unbelievable geology around it during our time on tour. And then we also visit a number of sites where you can most likely see buffalo as we travel. And so we visit a lot of national parks through all of our tours, but Yellowstone has one of the largest collections of wildlife out of all of them. Now on the Colorado Rails and National Parks tour, we arrive in Denver for a night, and that incorporates a welcome dinner to get acquainted with your fellow travelers. The next day we stop in Vail for the afternoon in this beautiful resort town. And Grand Junction is a great hub for visits to both Arches as well as Canyonlands. Now Arches, with its over 2,000 rock formations, and Canyonlands with Dead Horse State Point, is a magical view of the Colorado River bend. Then in Silverton, we travel on the Durango and Silverton line. This is a beautiful train one way, and we stay 2 nights in the quaint town of Durango. A day trip takes us out to Mesa Verde National Park with its ancient Pueblo cliff dwellings, and we stop at Great Sand Dunes National Park as well to see the tallest sand dunes in North America. We stay 3 nights in Colorado Springs and include a visit to the Air Force Academy, Garden of the Gods, as well as the U.S. Olympic Center. And we wrap up with a great farewell dinner and fly out of Denver on this trip. So Dead Horse State Park sits about 2,000 feet above the Colorado River on the edge of Canyonlands National Park. And this vista is outstanding from our viewpoint, and the river bend makes for some incredible photos. Now, we start this program in Charleston, a city founded in 1670, and this is a major port city in both the Revolutionary as well as the Civil War. Now, downtown Charleston is a charming southern city with waterfront park and beautiful architecture. We take you on a city tour as well as getting to see Middleton Place, and it's located along the Ashley River in Charleston. This is a rare survivor of the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and economic upheaval, along with natural disasters. After a 2-night stay, we continue to Beaufort, South Carolina. That's where you'll enjoy a carriage ride and a city tour through this quaint small town. Settled in 1733, Savannah is one of the oldest cities in the country, and it was one of the first planned cities. A big highlight for many travelers is the 2 nights at the Jekyll Island Resort, and the island was sold to a group of very wealthy individuals who formed the Jekyll Island Club in the late 1800s. That included families like the Rockefellers, Pulitzers, Vanderbilts, and more. This is a great program, especially coming from the West Coast, where you can learn so much about our country's history. And we have several departures for the spring and a couple in the fall. And this is just one of the many beautiful parks and iconic fountains in the public parks throughout Savannah. So we lead you on a city tour here, getting to see these beautiful historic oak trees dating 200 to 300 years old. Now, Black Hills and Badlands for me is a top 5 tour, and as it's settled right into Rapid City for 6 nights, it's very easy to get around. June and September are both guaranteed at this time, and we have a couple of midsummer departures as well that'll get there. And we take the Buffalo Jeep Safari through Custer State Park and see several herd of buffalo up close but safely. We see Mount Rushmore both in the daytime as well as that illumination ceremony on this trip. And then we head out south to the Crazy Horse Memorial on this tour. Our journey to the Badlands National Park has its gorgeous colors and the amazing signs of geology. And our hotel is well situated on this tour right next to downtown. So it's an easy walk to town with some great restaurants and shopping there, and a statue of each of the presidents on all of the corners of Rapid City. This tour also incorporates the 1880s steam train, and this is a wonderful journey through the Black Hills, a great opportunity to take another train ride throughout our country. Getting back up into Canada, our Great Canadian Cities trip, or as I like to call it, the Best of French Canada. We have 3 dates on the Great Canadian Cities program. We've actually added another one in the last couple of weeks. And so this program features Montreal, Quebec, Toronto, and Ottawa. Now, each offer wonderful city tours with locals who can describe life and experiences in this part of the world. And you'll enjoy a 1,000 Islands cruise to see some of the tiny little islands that some consider the smallest inhabited places anywhere. Another great feature on this tour is getting up to Niagara Falls, and that's where we have 2 nights, including a boat ride to see the power of the falls. And our farewell dinner on this tour is at the Skylon Tower to see Niagara Falls from 775 feet up. But just a wonderful program going all throughout the summer and an early fall date in September. And this gives you a glimpse into the 1,000 islands as we cruise through this area. You can see up at the top there are some islands that are just one home and nothing else. Be a little skeptical to build a house there, but you know what? To each their own. Now, our Santa Fe in the Land of Enchantments is a new program for us, and we fly in and out of Albuquerque on this tour and enjoy a 1-hotel stay in Santa Fe for 5 nights. Similar components to our Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, but outside the Balloon Fiesta timeframe. So we get out in May as well as November to kind of escape the crowds a little bit. And from here, we explore the Native American Pueblo of Taos and a stop at Chimayo's El Santuario. We also include the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center to learn all about the Native Americans of the Southwest. And we include city tours in both Santa Fe as well as Albuquerque, and take time to enjoy the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, the famous American painter. If you've seen the movie Oppenheimer, you'll connect it with the Los Alamos Bradbury Center, and this is where the atomic testing took place. But this 5-night, 6-day tour heads out May 5th with Deb Howard, and a second departure November 3rd. Now, built in 1813, El Santuario de Chimayo is an incredible site, and this historic chapel is part of an annual pilgrimage with over 300,000 travelers each year walking between the towns and Chimayo. It's known as the holiest place in New Mexico. Now, New York City and the Hudson Valley is a fantastic trip to see the highlights of the city with 3 nights right in the heart, generally around Manhattan, and 3 nights in the gorgeous valley near the town of Poughkeepsie. So the trip starts with the New York City tour and a local guide that will teach you about the many segments of the city, including Times Square. The varied configurations of each neighborhood, like Chinatown, bring to life the immigration that New York has always been known for. And then you'll enjoy a Broadway show, as well as a visit to the Military Academy of West Point. And then we'll head out to the Hudson Valley for 3 nights to see sites like Hyde Park, which was home to Franklin Delano Roosevelt. You'll also experience New Paltz, that was home to the Huguenots, as well as a maple syrup farm on this tour. And we take you out to both Ellis Island as well as the Statue of Liberty on this trip. From 1892 to 1924, Ellis Island served as the nation's first immigration center, and over 12 million immigrants passed through here. So it's a wonderful site that we get to spend time at. In Brandywine, Philadelphia, in the Amish country is a tour that will fly in and out of Philadelphia and stay at one hotel for our entire trip. We get the city living experience, and we travel out to the country to see our sights. And we start with a tour of the city of brotherly love to get our bearings. And a lot of historical sites are within close proximity. Then we head out to the country to Valley Forge. That's where we see George Washington's troops came together to form a true army, and George Washington's headquarters was established there. One of the country's most beautiful botanical gardens is Longwood Gardens, and our half-day visit lets you stroll through the conservatory, watch the fountains dance to music, and walk through many of the 1,100 acres. Then we take off for Nemours Mansion and tour the opulent house and gardens. Both of these places were owned by the DuPonts. The next day, we learn about the Amish and what it means to be part of this community. On our tour of the Amish farmlands, we'll stop and see an Amish home that sells beautiful quilts and handmade Amish goods, and a typical Amish meal with piles of chicken, mashed potatoes, macaroni, and more concludes this trip. Now, we also stop at the Hershey Museum, the Hershey Story Museum, and include a chocolate tasting. So Philly is home to so many historic sites related to our nation's founding. It was founded in 1682 by William Penn and served as the capital of Pennsylvania colony, where it played a vital role in the First Continental Congress, which decided our country's independence from Great Britain. Getting into some of our international trips, we spend 2 nights in Porto on board the ship the Amalia Rodriguez on our Highlights of the Douro with Spain cruise. And we have 2 departures on this, October 28th and November 4th. Both are guaranteed to travel. And how this program works is we'll fly in and out of Porto. We head up this gorgeous valley with vineyards on terraced cliffs along the way. Some of the highlights will be the Mateus Palace, built in 1760, and Salamanca, Spain, with its beautiful main square, Plaza Mayor, cathedral, and one of the oldest universities in the world. We also include time in these beautiful additional areas like Lamego, and in our time at the palace, we get to see this amazing garden. So Mateus Palace has an incredible garden in the back, a chapel, as well as the actual palace with walnut wood ceilings. In our time in Porto, we'll do a city tour and a port tasting. So you get to try about 3 different types of port, ruby, tawny, and white. And there are some wines in this winery that date back to 1800. So port is a fortified wine, anywhere from 18 to 20% alcohol. And these are aged long time, so anywhere 20 years and beyond. So incredible opportunity to try some great wines. Then we also offer a 3-night extension that takes you to Lisbon, Fatima, Obidos, and Nazaré with guided tours throughout. Like all of our river cruises, we include free Wi-Fi on board. And the Douro River Cruise also offers a special feature, and that is an open bar. Your domestic beers, wines, and liquor is available without cost. And if you order a premium drink, that would be charged to your onboard account. The November 4th departure has a special offer and a great value to single travelers, as we reduce the single supplement on this date by 50%. So this is a big savings. So look to November 4th if you are a single traveler. And here's a quick clip at the overall experience, not only the beautiful cruising opportunity along the Douro, but also some of the great stops along the way. So just a wonderful cruise experience, October 28th and November 4th, working its way along the Douro Valley and making its way out to Spain. Our next trip on our rivers is our Switzerland and Christmas markets of the Rhine. And this program is a great opportunity to travel into Europe just before the holiday season, when you can do all your Christmas shopping at the markets of Europe. So we fly into Zurich on this program, Zurich, Switzerland, and make our way to Lucerne for one night. We enjoy a guided walking tour of the Chapel Bridge and many other sites, and then finish at the Christmas markets for some free time. We'll meet the ship in Strasbourg, and that combines the best of German and French cultures as it's right on the border. This is an amazing city with its Notre Dame Cathedral and fun holiday decorations. And there you'll enjoy a walking tour as well as time to explore the markets all over town. We enjoy an afternoon with some of the cruising aspects that make the Rhine great, and we sail through the Rhine River Gorge and along some of Germany's amazing castles. And our arrival in Koblenz occurs in the late afternoon. That's when we enjoy a walking tour and time at the markets at night. So that's a big highlight. But one of my biggest highlights is the small town of Kokum, and this is where we head off the Rhine River and over to the Moselle. So we'll do a castle visit along with our city tour, and also include a wine tasting along the Moselle River. And that's home of some of the amazing German wine Rieslings. Rieslings as well as Pinot Noirs. We'll wrap up this cruise with a stop in Cologne, one of the great German cities, and home to the most famous cathedral in all of Germany. Cologne was originally a trading port for seafood and more, and you get to see the historic fish fountain in Old Town as we explore the historic district and conclude near the cathedral for an afternoon at leisure. So this is a wonderful program, 9 days, and this is newly released. We've had such success with our river cruises. We've sold out about 7 cruises already, and so we only have 2 departures available. The Switzerland and Christmas markets of the Rhine, December 9th, and then our Douro River cruise. So please, if you're interested in cruising this year, please don't wait because these are selling out. And we have a 1 cabin category upgrade available on this cruise as well as the Douro, and the single supplement savings of 50% off included on this program. So again, if you're a single traveler, both the Switzerland and Christmas markets as well as the Douro River cruise are great values for you. Last but not least is the Alpine Swiss villages, and this unique and charming itinerary focuses on the smaller villages, and we take you out away from the big cities, so you can see how the Swiss truly live. Now, this is an area with combined cantons. They're kind of like specific regions that were formed in 1291 as a whole. And we start in Zurich on arrival, and soon we're off to the more localized field. And we stop in Bern to see the famous clock and visit the city before we head out to Lauterbrunnen. And this is where we get to see this beautiful waterfall and take the cogway up to Wengen. Now, Wengen is a small Swiss village up in the mountains, and amazing views as well of the mountains and the valley. We stay 6 nights in the beautiful town of Wengen, and each day take different modes of transportation within the Swiss transportation system. It's so fluid and organized, it's unlike any tour you'll ever do. So our visits include the base towns of Alpine Mountains in the Grindelwald and Gimmelwald. Grindelwald sits at the base of the Eiger, and it's a peak in the Alps with the strongest mountain climbers at over 13,000 feet. And then we also include a lake cruise on Lake Brienz and time in Interlaken on this program. But you can see up above, 3 of our departures have already sold out, and we only have the July 9th departure available. So please give us a call today if it's an interest to you. This is our base. On the left-hand side, this is the town of Wengen, looking out over the beautiful mountains. And just below it is that amazing Lauterbrunnen Falls, the Lauterbrunnen Valley. So you can see that as you walk through town. But just an incredible departure and amazing sights. This is one of the most beautiful landscapes in all of the world. Now, we also partner with the American Queen, and they do steamships up along the Mississippi as well as the Columbia. So you can do the Mississippi in a couple of different ways, whether it's New Orleans to Memphis, Louisville to Pittsburgh, or the entire length. So a lot of great options there for folks that want to do this amazing cruise. And then with the Columbia that splits Washington and Oregon, this is the stretch that Lewis and Clark made their way to the Pacific. So it's an amazing opportunity to see a lot of what they saw as well. And then we partner with a couple of ocean cruise companies. That is Holland America and Princess. So we have a lot of diversity in our programs throughout our tours in our brochure. And our brochure is getting released. So it's available online. Our March brochure has just been released. So you can find that on our website, afcvacations.com, and it'll be mailed out in the next couple of weeks. Then with Princess Cruises, I always like to point out the repositioning cruises. These are some great values on programs 20 to 30 days. In some cases, as low as $2,000 per person for that length. So all of those meals, all those great features, and incredible sightseeing along the way. So in concluding the show, we like to provide a savings to our travelers. For those attending the show, a reduced deposit for 2024 tours or European river cruises. And that must be booked at the time of your deposit and travel protection together. So $199 down, reserving your spot on tour and holding your price. A $20 discount is also available on the travel protection, so when you pay for it with your tour deposit. And one of the great values we offer is the early booking savings. So you can save up to $200 off on European river cruises and up to $100 off on most domestic and international tours. You would pay your final payment by check and be one of the first 20 to book on a tour for your greatest savings. Then if you're the 21st through 40th traveler to book, you still make a savings as well, a little bit lower, but still pay by check in order for those to apply. Now, our one cabin category offer is available on the highlights of the Douro and the Switzerland Christmas Markets River Cruise. So both of those have that offer available, and you can save up to $200 to $400 per person. So I generally recommend booking the category C or B and being upgraded above it. So you pay the lower price, you're upgraded to a better cabin, better location on the ship, and more space as well. So those are great opportunities for you. The only thing is that they don't include the suites, either the junior or the full suites. That is the same with our single supplement savings on the two cruises. So you can save 50% off the single supplement both on the Douro River Cruise November 4th and the December 9th Switzerland Christmas Markets River Cruise. So two great savings all together. You would use the code Valentine, since it is close to Valentine's Day, by next Tuesday, February 20th to keep these savings and apply that low-cost deposit. Again, our deposit is usually $400 to $600 per person. So great way to reduce your cost up front. And how you can book is call our 1-800 number, 1-800-369-3693. Talk to Joe, Holly, April, or Sam. And you can also email us, Joe, Holly, or April at afctours.com. Our website is afcvacations.com. It's a nice, easy way. We just updated it, so check us out online. And from all of us at AFC, we appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on this wonderful virtual travel show. And please don't wait to book your tours, as tours are selling out. But thank you again for joining us, and have a wonderful day. Well, hello.